This is Joshua Hart here for Seconds Out. Delighted today to be joined this afternoon by Johnny Nelson MBE. Johnny, first of all, thank you very much for your time today. It's always a pleasure. And how is everything?
I'm good, Josh. I'm good. I've just been hammered by my daughters and Richard Poxton, and Keith Curl playing paddle. So I'm not as good as what I thought.
Fair enough, fair enough. Well, summer holidays, kids, they need to be entertained, don't they? So
Yes, yes, yes. Especially when they're telling you you're moving like an old man. Things are going to change.
fair enough. Well, we'll jump straight into things. I don't want to take up too much of your time today. While not the busiest boxing schedule in the UK, there's always a lot of news flying about, and the latest bit of news that we've got is the recent feud between Canelo and Turki Alalshikh. From what you've seen so far, what have you made of this feud between the two?
It's business. Both are businessmen. Turkey's trying to change the face of the game. He's looking at the boxing has always been, has got to a stage where it's now a sport, a business disguised as a sport, and Canelo's doing the same. Turkey is probably giving a lot more than he's taken out of the sport, and as an ex-fighter, I understand Canelo doing it that way because he's trying to make as much as he possibly can out of the game in the safest possible way that guarantees him a win. So I kind of get that because he's not the fighter he was, but the fighter he is again. He beats 98% of the fighters around the world. So he's thinking, I'll pick the fights that I'll get paid decent money for and I'll win so I can fight again another day. Whereas Turkey is wanting the best to fight the best. So therefore, it's two business ideas, not jelly. And so you can understand where Turkey's coming from, and you can understand from where Canelo's coming from. And Turkey's probably one of the few, but Oscar De La Hoya, that's happy to call Canelo out and address the elephant in the room. And regardless of what you think of Turkey, Turkey's got turning the face of boxing around because now number one is fighting number two. Now the big fights are happening. It's not just in Saudi, it's in England, it's in America, it's all over the place. So now fighters he's giving fighters no excuse, no public excuse not to get involved in the mix. I think he's done it to promoters, now he's done it to fighters. So you either back up the boast or just don't boast. So I get it from both points of view.
What are your thoughts on Turkey claiming that Canelo's scared to fight the big names like David Benavidez and Terence Crawford?
Well, what other excuse? Scared? No fighters are scared. Again, I think it's Canelo looking at his own business model and thinking, I wanna fight and win, and get paid not as much as I get from Turkey, but if I fight and win, it guarantees my gate, my purse for the next 3, 4, 5 fights. If Canelo gets turned over, does that affect his purse bid to fight after that? Yeah, his purse to fight after that, or the crowd, or his standing? Probably. So I get it. I do get it.
Would it tarnish Canelo's legacy in any way if he retires without facing either like, for example, David Benavidez? That's the fight that most boxing fans want.
In the short term, yes. In the long term, no. In the long term, it's an argument today that people will talk about, and it's because they didn't fight X, Y, Z. That'll be forgotten about in about 6 months' time. Lennox Lewis had it against Vitaly Klitschko. All the same talk was around Lennox might not fight Vitaly. He said, "I'm done." Now you look at Lennox with one of the best heavyweights ever. But at the time, people tried to throw that shade on him. So I'm quite sure that will happen to Canelo as well. But it'll just be a short term situation.
If Turkey and Canelo are never going to work together, who do you feel loses out more and why?
Canelo. Canelo is not the only fighter in the world. Canelo is, and us fighters have got to think, really selfishly as though the world revolves around us, especially the world of boxing. So, so Canelo, if anybody, but in reality, I don't think anybody loses out. I think Canelo's a very, 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 very wealthy man. Uh, Turkey is 20, 50 times more wealthy than him. So I think Canelo's like, I'm all right. I'm gonna do it my way, and then I'm gonna do my kind of business, not yours.
And then just moving away from Canelo, looking at some big news in the heavyweight division. We'll start off by going back to the Riyadh season card in LA. We saw an upset on the card when Martin Bakole stopped Jared Anderson, and since then has gone out in interviews and showed a lot of interest in a fight with Zhilei Zhang. If that fight is to get made, how do you see that unfolding?
First of all, I don't think it was an upset with Bakole beating Anderson. And when that fight was made, I thought they'd made a mistake here. And Anderson's bubble got burst. Bakole is the guy that's in the Who Needs Him club. People want to develop amnesia or not look in that direction or not have that conversation about Bakole because he's a handful. Promoters, I don't know if TV companies are saying, promoters will look at him and think, I want to fight that's, there's many Mark Bacoles around the world, but if you don't sell tickets, you don't put bums on seats, that's the excuse for promoters not to invest in you. So even if a promoter's got a fight that's not as good as you, as Bacole, he's going to look at commercially how's it work. You're the better fighter, but he brings more revenue through the gate. He attracts more TV. That's life. Bacole's now kicked the doors down where, like it or not, they've got to do business with him. Like it or not, this is how it is. So, and good on him. You can't ignore him. Um, Probably one of the oldest trick in the book with promoters is, yeah, I'll sign you up, I'll do your deal. They sign them up and then put them in a cage. Basically, make sure to sign them up. It locks them in from fighting their fighters. They'll say, "Come and fight with me, and you'll be able to fight my fighter A, B, and C." But once he's signed the deal and he's under contract, then they get frozen out. So Bacoli needs to be careful of that happening to him. He'll get so many unbelievable offers from promoters, but he's got to remember they're unbelievable offers. They're unbelievable because they probably are unbelievable. And but it's an old school trick from the promoters. Bacoli's in a very good position. And I think what Turkey is doing with Real season, I think Turkey has made it very possible for people like Bakole to break through the mold and make number one fight number two, make the best fight the best. So he's in a fortunate position. He's kicked the doors down, but he needs to be smart, needs to be wise in regards to the decisions he's made, and be careful of that carrot that's dangled in front of you. And remember, the agenda might be that a promoter might want you. So once he signs you up, you can't fight his fighter. So his fight is safe, that sells tickets, that has the TV revenue. And so this is again, it's the oldest trick in the book.
If it's not Jide Zhang next for Martin Bakole, who would you like to see Martin Bakole face next in the ring?
You know what? If it is Zhilei Zhang, if that's just talk, you could put him in with almost anybody because I thought his hands were so loose. His style was very George Foreman-esque, and he was so powerful. And how he dismantled Anderson, you thought, shit, you sat up and paid attention. So you try and, create some kind of AI image of him against Usyk, him against Fury, him against AJ, him against Dubois. The names that are in the top 10, the names that are talked about by the general public, and you actually see him giving them hellfire, if not knocking them out. Now, if the gym rumors are to be believed, and all these rumors that he said, none of these people have denied it. They've not confirmed or denied it. So it makes you think, might be more truth in this than what you think. I know sparring, but when you get in there and you've got the measuring man, you think, I've got your number. But sparring is sparring. I remember being in with many sparring partners that got the better of you, and when it came to a fight, they couldn't handle it.
Who are your top five heavyweights right now in the world and in order?
Wow. Well, that's a juggle that because you've got Fury, you've got Usyk, you've got AJ, you've got Dubois. He's kind of dug himself out there, down there. But these matches have to be made. You've got Zhilei Zhang. You've got the fights there. But then you can look at the rest of them that are there in the top 10, and you could put anybody against anybody. The only three you could guarantee is the top three, and that's AJ, Fury, and Usyk. Usyk obviously being number one. AJ, last performances, you've got to think putting number two, number three, Tyson Fury. You've got to do that, and it's not flipping and flopping. It's saying what you see. It might have been Fury above AJ yesterday, but today ain't. That's just your opinion. So people need to let go of their blind loyalty and just look at facts, look at what you see, and look how it's done.
Who would go if you had to pick? Obviously, I know you mentioned there's a lot of heavyweights to choose from. If you were to pick a fourth and fifth option for the top five, which fighters are taking your fancy today?
put Zhilei Zhang there because he's had a good run. I put Joseph Parker there because again, gotta look at results. You got to look at results. It doesn't matter what that's bullshit. You got to look at results on where they are. Is it heavy outside that top three? You know, there's no solid unbeaten heavyweights. You think shit, that's a done. But then you look at Martin Bakole, and Martin Bakole's just got to prove, and he could gate crash easily because I could see him beating Parker. I could see him. I think the test of the battle with him against Gile, that'll be the test. And then we'd see how far and how good he'd be.
Fair enough. Just moving forward from that and looking into Joshua versus Dubois in a bit more detail. What do you think Daniel Dubois needs to do in order to defeat Anthony Joshua?
Daniel Dubois needs to not get hit as often. He showed tremendous heart. He showed steely determination, but he also showed that he could be hit, and you can't afford to get hit like that from Anthony Joshua. And that's not just hearsay. That's fact. You can't afford, and if he's going to get hit that often by Anthony Joshua, he's getting knocked out. So he's got to put him under pressure, fight at an unorthodox pace and rhythm. And he's got to keep it on him, push it on him, because if he gives him space, gives him that distance, AJ will knock him out.
What do you make of the claims that fans around the world are saying that Anthony Joshua has a bit of a fragile chin? What do you make of those claims?
It's heavyweight boxing. Anybody gets hits on the chin, they're gonna get hurt. You look at Tyson Fury against the jumped up, blown up middleweight, allegedly. He got rocked against Usyk. Understand? It's heavyweight boxing. So if you get on the chin, of course you're going to get rocked. Of course you're going to think. And I've not seen there's very few heavyweights that I've seen that have been hit solid on the chin and just walked through it. Bakole, yeah. George Foreman, yeah. You know, but even Ali, the greatest, was hit on the chin. So it's very unfair to say that, but it depends on how you're looking at the game.
Oleksandr Usyk's quite in a recent interview and said that, in his words, that he has no right to deny Anthony Joshua a third fight with him. So if that is to get made, how would AJ finally defeat Usyk?
I really don't know because the first AJ allegedly underestimated Usyk. The second AJ ticked every box, still got beaten by Usyk, even though he boxed better. The third version of AJ, the AJ we've seen in the last couple of fights, are going in there with belief, self-confidence. Will he have the same belief and self-confidence going in there with Usyk, knowing this man's beaten him twice? Now, if that AJ can turn up, it could be a different kettle of fish. But I don't know. I don't know. You know, 100 times AJ beat Usyk 5, and Usyk's got his number, and AJ still has that chance, that ability to take him out, and that's why he's got and he's got that hope and desire to do that.
As we get closer to, obviously, the rematch for what was meant to be undisputed Oleksandr Usyk versus Tyson Fury 2, who do you see coming out on top in that one?
Well, as I said before, I think Tyson Fury had the beating of Oleksandr Usyk, and I thought Tyson Fury beat Usyk. And then when I saw the fight itself and how he boxed, and the rumours that he's not changed anything in camp, which I don't believe. So if it is to be believed that he's not changed anything in camp, then he loses. If he has changed something, which I do think he will do, I think he tells you like what you want to hear, just to give nothing away. Then I think he has the beating of him because there was glimpses, there was cameos of where he could get the better of him, tougher, stronger, bigger, had more fight about him. But he tried to outbox somebody that was a better boxer, and but not as good a fighter. He saw that he got the maths wrong. He tried to box more than he could fight, and that's why Usyk, got the better of him.
What do both men need to change as they prepare for the rematch?
Well, Usyk now knows what to expect, but then again, so does Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury needs to change the mindset, the game plan, whatever they're working on in the gym didn't work. And I always say with Fury, he's always said I'm a fighting man. That's what works. So he needs to throw the kitchen sink at it, and fighting boxing, not boxing fighting. Because if you try and box him more than you fight, you're going to lose.
If you were to put yourself back in your fighting days in a fighter's shoes, whose style would you say is harder to prepare for out of Usyk's and Fury's?
I'd say, hmm, I'd say Fury's, because Fury, a non-form Fury, because he has the height there, he has the reach, he has the weight, he has that unorthodox style to try and navigate around because he's that long and that awkward. So for a guy so big, for a guy so big, moving the way he does, I'd say Tyson Fury.
If Fury is to lose the rematch, however, do you feel that he retires from boxing?
Um, I don't know, because Usyk is a complex character, and I think his reasons for fighting, most of them are very different than most fighters out here. I know he says his mom's asking him to retire, and I think he's made enough money to be happy. He's not made mad money, but to be happy. I think his mission is probably bigger than just boxing in life.
And then which fight excites you more? So Usyk versus Joshua, three-bit and Anthony Joshua, obviously under Ben Davison, or Fury versus Joshua?
Fury Joshua. I think the way you're looking at it, I think Usyk has proven with both Tyson and Joshua beats them. The one thing we haven't seen is Joshua Fury. So that one excites me more. But I'm still excited about Fury Tyson anyway.
Fair enough, Johnny. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Always a pleasure to catch up with you, and hopefully we can speak again very soon. Cheers.
Short and sweet. Thank you.